I'm at a very interesting point in my life where I take home tens of millions of dollars a year. That's not a good life. My happiest life was when I was between the ages of 19 and 20. I was doing a couple $1 million a year, profit, take home, best quality of life by far.
Was there a point where you'd hit a certain amount of revenue or profit per month where like, this is good, where you felt like, like I've made it?
No. And that same attitude has carried through my entire life. And I genuinely think it's the reason I am where I am today. I've never been interested in making it. That's why I don't believe in the whole like, oh, I made it bullshit, because I've seen it time and time again where people make it and they buy their Lamborghini and they buy their this thing and that thing. And they're like, oh, I made it. I achieved the dream. And people don't realize that things decay.
Yeah.
There's entropy. What you can do is you can buy yourself time. Like if you work really hard for the next 6 months, you may have bought yourself 18 months, but there's no such thing as fucking passive income.
Yeah.
The market will do what the market does and someone will come in and take your spot. So I guess just from a young age, I've always just realized there's no such thing as like, I'm here now, I'm happy. I think there's definitely a monetary amount where you can get to where you realize, okay, I'm kind of happy at this amount, but it still takes maintenance. I think I was in such a weird position where I made my first million when I was 18. And when you make your first million when you're 18, and you're also like, I grew up so quick in so many senses of my life. So like, even when it came to women, when it came to money, when it came to all these things, I grew up so quick, and it gave me this perspective that, like, for me at least, apart from work and challenge, like what's left? Like I have so many, listen, I even have friends of mine that have $300 million in the bank and they're in their late 20s and they've done very well in certain businesses. And I have to check in on them because sometimes they're a genuine suicide risk because they have all of this money at a young age and they don't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
They're lost. They're genuinely lost. They have no purpose in their life. And when I don't say it lightly when I say I think that they are a genuine suicide risk. So I have to constantly check in on them, make sure they're doing okay. And that's a person who has the dream. So I think, there's nothing wrong with getting to a point financially where you're happy. And I always try to make it clear to people that I'm at a very, and for the last couple of years, I'm at a very interesting point in my life where I take home personally tens of millions of dollars a year. That's not a good life. My happiest life was when I was between the ages of 19 and 20, probably those 2 years. I was doing a couple $1 million a year, profit, take home, best quality of life by far.
Less stress, less responsibility.
Less stress, less responsibility. But it's, people always say, oh, I don't do it for the money. But it's like you get to a certain point where you've just made so much money that you have to ask yourself, why does this person keep doing this? It's quite clearly not for the money because they're good. And I think I would just be bored if I...
Yeah, well, that's what sets you apart from everyone else. I mean, if an 18-year-old has got to the point where they've made a mill, like they're going to go wild. And maybe that'll be it. They're happy. They just want to go party for a couple of years because, you can certainly have a good time at that age with $1 million. But I still did, by the way. Make that very clear. And I still do. I have a lot of fun. Yeah. But I feel like you do it. You do the work. Once you've done what you need to do, you take a little break, enjoy yourself, and you get back to it straight away.
100%. And I think as I said, the thing that sets me apart is I'm very, some people think this is bad, but I'm always paranoid. I always think what could go wrong. And for a quality of life perspective, that's not a good way to live.
I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
What are you more paranoid about? Becoming irrelevant on social media and your YouTube views just
couldn't give less of a shit.
Or income dropping drastically?
It's paranoid in a different way. What I mean by paranoid in a different way, when it comes to the social media stuff, I'm gonna be honest, I literally don't give a shit. Like I was making content on YouTube for half a decade before anyone even watched it. So quite clearly, I really don't care. It's not that, and I'll be honest, it's something I've toyed with a lot. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be on social media, if I'm going to be honest. I think especially in the last half a year, it's something I've really mulled over. And for me, a life out of social media is much better. People need to get that through their head, that a life outside of social media, everything in your life becomes very complicated with social media. And I've also gotten to a point in life where I have such a, like, I was 21 when I really never needed to work again ever in my life. Mm-hmm. I had 10 million to my name personally at the age of 21 after tax. And at that point, you're good. Like, I'll be honest, once you have 10, maybe you can push for 25, but like once you got 10, like you're fine. You're good. So it's not so much paranoid in that sense, because I don't need any more income for the rest of my life. And if the social media side went down, I would kind of love that, because then I can focus on my companies, what I've been invested in and stuff like that. And when you have a certain track record, you don't need social media. Like, in order to,
if you, let's say, for example, your social media vanished, how much would the revenue from the other companies and businesses be affected?
Well, some companies would be affected more than others, but also some companies' revenues would go up substantially more because I can focus on it. Because I have a lot of companies that social media doesn't affect. Social media has no bearing on the performance of that company. And the thing is, I was saying this to my friend the other day. We were talking about some athletes, and one athlete is very active on social media and the other athlete is not. And, my friend was saying that I know this person will become a world champion. And I said, I'm telling you this for a fact right now. For a fact, this person will never become world champion, because you can't be a social media
distraction. You
can't be a fucking little monkey social media superstar and still do this.
Yeah.
Now, and in that world, that doesn't make sense. Now, if your social media directly helps you get more business, then that makes sense. And I'll be honest, I was actually going to quit social media 18 months ago. It was my business partner at my software company that talked me out of it. Because my business partner at my software company said, listen, you could drive us so much business through your socials that it would be, you have fiduciary responsibility. It would be so irresponsible for you to not do this. And that was when I finally started taking social media seriously. I'll be honest,
was this 2022?
Listen, in 1 year, from summer of 2022 to summer of 2023, I grew 2.6 million subscribers on YouTube.
I wrote some of the stats down, because it was literally, the growth was ridiculous. Because in 2021, I was looking at Social Blade. It's a pretty decent website, by the way. In that year, I think from the beginning, you had 161,000 subscribers and finished the year with 180. So growth.
19,000 subscribers in 1 year.
Then we go to June 2022. In 1 year, in less than a year, you got 1 million subscribers. And then after that,
listen, I started taking YouTube seriously in summer of 2020. Summer of 2020 to summer of 2023, I went from 400,000 subscribers to 3 million subscribers.
Yeah.
And the thing is, a lot of people, well, first of all, there's never been that growth on YouTube in history, in anything to do with fitness or self-development. There's some people that have done it, like a vlog channels and this, but that's like,
but you have to do crazy stuff.
That's also like, I can't compete with that. The thing. So over the space of the last couple of years, self-development, fitness, all this stuff, it's gotten a lot more cool, but it's still not mainstream. Like, it's not, not everyone is doing this stuff. So yeah, listen, I don't think the growth is crazy. I think it's the fact that I orchestrated every aspect of it. Like, there's people who achieve things in life. There's a big difference between achieving something and being able to explain how you achieved it and why you achieved it. And a lot of times the people who achieve things can't actually break down, I did this, and this is why this happened.
What do you think? They got lucky, or they just don't understand how they did it?
Listen, luck is a big part. Yeah. I would say even the first few years of my business, I was just, a large part of it is luck. You stumble on certain business models at the right time, and everything in life is partially luck.
Even when I started doing the fitness videos, I got lucky the time I was doing it. Like, if I was to make those videos now, I'm sure they wouldn't get the same amount of traction. It was because I was one of the early ones to start doing the very simple, to the point fitness videos.
Timing, luck. It's a part of life. Simple as that.
What were your tactics and strategies to blow up that YouTube channel? Because I think realistically today, there's so many people that want to have a following, they want to grow their YouTube, their Instagram, whatever it might be.
Well, first of all, the first thing I want to make very clear to people is I want people to ask themselves, why do you want this? Because being well known for the sake of being well known is legitimately the stupidest fucking thing anyone could ever do. Because when you're well known, there's expectations of you. Mm-hmm. When you're well known, if you're well known enough, you're going to need security. And that's not because you as a person are at risk, but it's just certain things. Like, listen, most people are lovely, but there's certain places, there's two places I will not take photos. You could stop me while I'm running. I'll take a photo. If I'm at dinner with my mom, I'm the most like, I will stop. I will go out of my way. The two places, don't come to my house, and at a place of prayer. Those are the two fucking places I just want to be normal.
Has it happened?
What, house?
Yeah. Go on, Axe.
Axe, well,
tell us some stories, Axe.
5 times a day? But people,
wait, this is in Dubai.
Yeah, no, but people are dumb. Like, people, and I've had crazy stuff. I've had people swim over to try to get to my house. Bro, I've had, you name it, I've had it. And bro, that's in Dubai. You can't believe the shit that happens in London, Cape Town, other places. It gets crazy, bro. And
who are these just fanboys that want to meet you?
And these are just, yeah, they're fans. Mm. And the other thing that people don't understand about fame is you could have a superstar athlete, but the thing is, you could be like, oh, this is some famous football player. Like, I'm friends with quite a few famous football players, and people know who they are, but not as many people will go out of their way to go take a photo with them or be like, yo, like, you changed my life, or yo, you did something for my life. Mm-hmm. Whereas, for example, if you have a football player or you've got a musical artist and they have the same amount of following, I would say the musical artist will have 10 times more effective fame, because you have people who are like, you helped me through something in my life. Mm. And that's actually a very beautiful thing. I think it's what you're known for is very important. And the fact that people know me for, I watched you go from 15 years old broke and just trying to like start a business to where you are in your position now. And like, I can see the full thing. You've helped me so much. That's a beautiful thing. But also,
yeah, you no doubt you've inspired millions of people.
And that said, I really don't take that lightly. And that's why I don't give a shit what I am doing. I could be anywhere, anytime. And even Axe, like, even my security team tells me all the time, like, you do realize you don't need to do this, right? Like, you can say I'm having a shit day. For me, I think if someone's giving you their time and their attention, like, I just think that's preposterous and ridiculous. Oh, you're just having a shit day. For me personally. Mm. But
don't you think if you came off social media, you have a duty to these people who look up to you and want that inspiration and guidance?
I think yes and no. I also think you get to a certain place where you've helped people as much as you can. And this is also my biggest issue. I think I was telling you this. A lot of people meet me, like, or people who actually know me and actually know my businesses and what I operate. They're like, wow, I didn't realize you're actually a really fucking good businessman. Like, you're razor sharp. Mm-hmm. And I can't show that on social media, because the thing is, the things that I deal with these days in my day-to-day life these days, at my family office, managing different corporate structures, managing different investments, meeting with the founders and CEOs of companies I've invested in, managing my own internal team, doing all, like, stuff that is just very outside of, like, I can't take that and help my audience. Mm-hmm. Like, this is also why there's a lot of, I was telling you, I was so used to being honest when I was broke. And I was so used to being honest. Like, I was honest when I was broke. I was honest when I was making 95 pounds a week. I was honest when I had my first 10K month. I was honest when I made my first million. I was also honest in times when, there was times in my business where my business in one weekend, when my business decreased, we lost 40% of our revenue. And I was honest about that then. I made videos about that then. I even have, it's funny enough, it was actually in this building. This must have been like 2.5 years ago when I was in Dubai. I had a video, uploaded my $7 million crypto portfolio. And then, I joked in it, oh, you never know. It could go down, next week it could be 15, or next week it could be 3. And here I was making a video 2 weeks later, my updated 3.5 million crypto portfolio. So I've just always been so honest through this journey that the issue is now I can't really be honest about, you get to this weird place where you can't even be honest about how well you're doing. Or you can't even be honest of like how sharp you are as a business person, as an operator, because it doesn't help my audience.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying. If I stepped away from social media, I'd be doing a disservice to my audience. But at a certain point, like how much can you help your audience when you're just in a different stage of life? And this is something that I battle with at times, because I'm still here making content for people who are starting out, because I, as you said, I do feel a sense of responsibility. But at a certain point, do you go,
maybe the type of the content would change over time?
Yeah, it could change, but once again, it would be so not applicable. And I guess I'm also one of those people that I really do, when I go off social media, it won't be like goodbye guy. I will just go. And
I'm quitting YouTube.
Yeah. I'm not one of the, like when I say I'm going to do something, you won't see me come back 6 months later.
Yeah.
That will be it. It will be done. And I think there is something quite like,
that'd be cool if you took a couple of years off and you came back and then you were just this
very different
person.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. There's all stuff I toy with.